Okay, hey, what's up, everyone? How you doing, everyone? Welcome. Those of you who are watching the replay, welcome. What's up? I'm just gonna let some people jump on this broadcast, and we shall get cooking. Yes. Yes, it's a happy Friday today. Paul, if you want to, you can go on to the call yourself. Not the call, the broadcast.
I'm going to do it right now.
Okay. And people will...
Now, I'm new to this Periscope. So, how do I do this again, Justin?
Hey, Miley. Kylie Warren, what's up? Okay, are you in the... Everyone tuning in, this is Paul J. Alessi. He's a film producer. He is also going to join in on Periscope, so he can also comment. So... Are you in there now, Paul?
I'm in there. How do I add that thing like you told me?
Okay, go to the bottom where it says 2. Do you see the counter on the bottom right of your screen? Press it.
People, yeah.
Did you press it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now it's going to bring up invite friends, invite followers.
I brought up a map.
Yeah, pull it up a little bit more, a little bit further. Keep scrolling.
Share this broadcast?
Share broadcast. There you go. Share broadcast. That's the word. Click it, and then it'll give you the option, all your contacts, I think, all your followers. Okay, Paul has invited followers. Ooh, your money. Okay, you're on. We're good. Paul J. Alessi has invited his followers. Welcome, everyone who's just joining in. Those of you who are watching from the internet who don't have Periscope, go to periscope.tv and download the app so you can actually be interactive while we're having this talk. Anyway, okay, Paul, we can just get right into it. Paul, you and I are both producers. You more than me. You've got more stuff going on. And one of the issues that we all face is, well, the script, because that's the meat and potatoes of any production, you know? So... There's a lot of writers out there who might be tuning in who have a certain understanding or naivete about how about the whole process, how it all even goes. So let's walk me through it when you're trying to find a writer for hire for a film project, Paul.
Well, this is just my opinion, first of all. So I can't speak for all producers. I can just speak for myself and how I find projects and find writers and so forth. So, number one, just off the top, let me shoot by. I get unsolicited scripts sent to me daily. And not one, I get a ton of them. And I can't really open them. I can't really look at them. Because you can't really take unsolicited scripts, because if it is something similar to a script I'm already working on, I know there's been some problems, and I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know legally, but from what I understand is you don't want to open those. So if there's something that you want someone to read, just send them a log line or a tagline and a synopsis, and if it's something we're interested in, we can write you back and set up the proper channels to actually read your script properly. But if you're just sending me an unsolicited script, I won't even open the email. Or I definitely won't open the script, that's for sure. So just as a heads up for that. As far as looking for writers, there's a bunch of places. I've searched, I've been on Inktip a bunch. I don't know if anyone's familiar with that.
I love Inktip.
What?
I love Inktip. I love Jason. Welcome, Jason. What's up, buddy? We have a new person just joined on. Jason, how you doing? Woody woo. Jason, no worries. So go ahead. You were saying Inktip, because I like Inktip personally, but go ahead.
Yeah. Inktip is a good resource. There's a lot of new writers on there and established writers as well. But some of the, let me just cut to just a couple of my stuff. Some of the things are making sure you're on the same page with a writer. To me, I like to be on the same page creatively as well as personally, and work ethics. As an example, if I'm the guy that wants something turned around in 2 days, and you're the writer that's going to take, and these are unrealistic numbers, like 3 months, we're probably not going to gel because I'm going to start to get PO'd because you're not sending me material right away. But that's not your process. You work a different way. So making sure that the process is understood and agreed upon by both people on what's the right amount of time to get to step A, B, C, and D, and make sure that you agree on the terms and everything that's happening up front, as well as credits and pay, or whatever you have as supplementing them for their work. I've had, some problems in the past with people that they're green or not that well diverse in the lingo, and they expect different things than actually should be accepted. Does that make sense?
That makes sense to me.
Me justice?
Yeah, it makes sense. But you know what? I had a question because I'm sure we have guys joining on. You've got a couple hearts too, by the way, Paul.
Thank you.
I got a question. Let's say I'm a writer right now. I'm a writer, and I see. How would I see your ad for Writer for Hire to even apply to possibly write your script for you? How does that work?
Lots of ways. I put ads up on Intemp for starters. I'll throw them out in other publications and then word of mouth. I do a lot through word of mouth and through mutual friends because it's a very personal thing. You're sharing your stories with people that a lot of times you don't know. So it has to be a big trust thing there. Obviously, there's contracts and so forth. But for me, the same way, Justice, how I work, I like working with friends and friends and friends and building a nice, tight niche of filmmakers that eventually will continue to work on tons of things together and grow together about, inspiring and telling great stories and moving people, right? Enlightening each other with our creativity. So, word of mouth to me and friends is a big thing besides Inktip and some of those other venues.
So I'm a writer with no contacts, no credits on IMDb. So if I subscribe to like Inktip, you're saying I could submit myself for jobs to write for your project possibly?
Yeah, you'd have to get approved through Inktip. I know there's a process. I'm not really sure what it is now, but I know you have to be referred by X amount of people. Same thing like a lot of these filmmaking sites. X amount of people have to refer you and be recognized and have a certain amount of work under your belt. Even if it's not paid work, you have to write so many scripts. If I'm not mistaken, you can check with the Inktip guys over there. There's a bunch of cool peeps. But that's one venue. Another thing is you can write spec scripts and submit those to people as samples of work. And I think you should submit the things that is in your wheelhouse. Like, if I'm looking for a sci-fi writer and you're submitting horror scripts to me, yeah, I can see that you can write. And I'm not saying that you can't write a sci-fi script, but I'm looking for a sci-fi script. So to put me in that place makes me more comfortable. Me personally, I'm not speaking for everybody, but if you can send a working sample of something that's in the same genre of what the person's looking for.
Now, Paul, do you actually hire unknown writers for hires to write projects for you, or is that a pipe dream? Like, let's say I see.
Man,
Go ahead.
I've hired people, unknown writers. I mean, with just going off there. Like things I was just talking about, making sure we get along. Obviously, I want to see their samples of work and know that they can write and know that they can tell a story. But more importantly, if it's a writer for hire, basically, let's hypothetically say I have a story.
Okay.
I'm creating it. I know my story. I know my characters. I wrote out my character descriptions. I wrote out my plot outline. I wrote out my Bible. I even took a crack at, hypothetically speaking, I write out 50 pages of scripts. I'm not, a well-seasoned writer, and I don't want to try to say that's my niche, but I can write. So I'll write as much as I can. And then what I like to do is bring on a writer to take that, polish it, make it better, collaborate, and see where it goes from there. So yes, if we get along, if we understand what each other wants, both creatively and financially and credit-wise, and all of the above, I'm absolutely down to hire writers. Today I had 3 phone calls with writers that have no credits, and what I asked them to do is give me some writing samples of a couple of topics I gave them.
Okay.
And a couple of them I asked actually to write reviews or promotional spots for some of the work I've already done to see how we gel.
Okay.
And this is today that this happened, so it's funny you're bringing this up.
No, because I want to give my viewers, our viewers, and by the way, guys, if you're just jumping on this broadcast, I'm Justice Bowens. I'm interviewing producer Paul J. Alessi. He's been in the game for some time, and he just wants to give some tips to writers because, as you guys may or may not know, writing the script is the nuts and bolts of any film. It's everything. And if it's not the right way, you've got bupkis. So myself and Paul, we have a lot of issues sometimes with writers and projects, so we figured we would have this discussion via Periscope to enlighten everyone, and just kind of educate, and that's why we're here. So Paul, can anyone email you, or how if I was a writer and I wanted to meet you, because you said you've got to know people, how do I contact you? Are you on Periscope? Yes, you are.
I'm on because of you. I just got on there a couple of days ago. It's the first time I'm doing something on here. Just my name, Paul J. Alessi, which is P-A-U-L-J and then A-L-E-S-S-I. It's pretty much the same thing at YouTube and Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, all the other
social media,
Pinterest.
Yeah.
Follow me on one of those. I'm on, and then just hit me up. Send me a message on Twitter or my email.
Oh, you know what?
Email me.
On Twitter now, guys who are watching right now on Periscope, on Twitter, you can now DM people you're not following. Of course, you have to go to your security settings and change that to receive DMs. But maybe, Paul, you can go to your Twitter account and remove that function so that people who don't follow you on Twitter can DM you, who are aspiring writers or writers with some kind of credits or awards and whatnot. Does that sound cool to you, Paul?
Yeah.
What are you looking for right now, Paul? What do you want right now?
Do what?
What are you looking for right now? What are you looking for? I'm a writer right now. I'm watching you right now talk. Are you looking for a writer where I can submit myself today to you, possibly?
Sure. I'm looking for a few things, actually. I'm looking for a writer for a sci-fi series. I'm looking for a writer to write some YouTube content. I'm looking for a writer to do some creative writing for PR stuff, for bios, for reviews, for little blurbs and stuff for Twitter and kind of things like that, promotional material.
Okay.
So there's a few different things writing-wise that I'm looking for as we speak, actually.
Hey, writers, you hear that? You guys want to break in. Maybe it's not what you want to write, let's say, but in this industry, it's about breaking in. It's about proving yourself. It's about, he is at Paul J. Alessi. That's at PAULJALESSI. That's at Paul J. Alessi on Twitter. You should go find him, follow him, DM him, send him your resume, because this is how it all works, guys. And because of Periscope, you guys are lucky, because I'm going to open up a lot of my resources via Periscope because I want to help others. And Paul will confirm, isn't half of Hollywood built on favors, Paul?
Probably more than half.
Exactly.
Who you know?
And if it wasn't for favors, there'd be no Hollywood. Am I right?
It's true.
Yeah. So
in our opinion,
no, I mean, dude, it's that's what it is. That's how it is. So now, Paul, you were saying that we're talking before we went on broadcast that you have some issues. What are your issues that you have with a writer for hire that makes this whole process challenging at times?
a lot of the same stuff, unrealistic expectations of people wanting the handouts. They just want things that they think they deserve or they're entitled to, and they're really not. They don't know the business. They haven't put their work in, haven't earned their chops per se. And I'm not saying that if you're hired for a writer for hire and you write something that you don't deserve X, Y, and Z, but there's people have to start at the bottom like everybody did. Well, at least the people I know. I started at the bottom. I wasn't handed anything.
So did I, Paul.
So you think you're going to come on and what?
No, I said so did I. I was a PA on a Madonna video. That's how I got my break. No, it was either Missy Elliott or Madonna videos how I got my end into the industry, and I had to work my ass off and pay dues.
Yep.
Hey, tell them, Paul.
Well,
no one.
Yeah. People they start talking to me about Writers Guild and what the normal rates are for this and that, and I'm kind of like, "Are you in the Writers Guild?" And they're like, "No." And I'm like, "Well, why are you bringing that up then? If you're a beginner writer and now you're quoting me Writer Guild rates, it's like, well then, I don't know what to say. You know what I'm saying? Or saying this guy, deserves this much money because this is what's standard. I don't really believe in standard. If you're up and coming, you got to put you got to earn your way.
Paul,
and you might have to do some stuff. Yep.
Tell the people right now who are watching, give it to them real. What can an uncredited writer expect to get paid for a writer for hire for a feature film for any kind of budget? Okay, let's say the budget is $500,000. I'm a writer with no credits and you hire me to write this script. What can I really honestly expect to get paid? Keep it real with these guys.
Oh man, that's hard. That's really hard for me to answer just because there's a lot that goes into it. You're a first-time writer. You're writing something. I mean, it could basically go off of what you get on the back end, ties into points, who else is involved, who else. That's really tough. That's really tough, and that's kind of specific to each project.
I agree.
Not that I'm avoiding the question, but I can't speak for other people. For me, I'll give where it's deserving. And if you're coming in with a script that's great and we're going to produce it and we're getting $500,000, man.
And I'm not WGA either, so you don't got to pay me 30 or 40 grand to write it because I'm not in the WGA. So I mean, keep it honest. Tell them like you probably give them like $2,000. Am I right? $2,000, $5,000, maybe 10 grand at the most.
Depending on, like I'm saying, a lot of things, what we worked out as far as points, who else is involved, who else is getting credits, how many other producers are there, where do we have to distribute stuff, because you can't give everything away, because at the end of the day, you got to get distribution, and distribution company takes stuff, and you can't be left with nothing. So where are we shooting is a big deal as well. I'm avoiding the question in a lot of ways.
Yeah, you are avoiding. But no,
answer because it could be cheap. It could be very cheap.
No,
yourself going with
Paul.
Anticipations that it does well, and you make money in the back.
Paul, tell them the truth. Tell them that a first-time writer with no credits, he or she is not going to get paid a lot of money. That's just they're going to have to pay their dues. They're going to have to. They'll get a credit, hopefully, right? They'll get a credit. They can leverage that credit for another project, right?
I've had people send me stuff not looking to get paid. They just want to get their film made.
Well, because
take points on the back.
Well, because a credit is worth more anyway, and especially in the beginning. It's about getting that credit and leveraging that credit to get other projects, and not looking at this one project as an end-all, say-all to make your break into Hollywood. Would you agree with me on that?
Well, work creates work, so it's really important. It's like stuff. Perfect example, like my little Star Wars fan film that's on YouTube right now that a lot of people like, and they're like, "Oh, well, why would you do a little Star Wars fan film?" Because work creates work. People seeing what you're doing, it's getting hits, getting traffic, and then next thing you know, I'm working on another sci-fi film that I'm being paid to produce.
I saw your Star Wars fan film. It was dope, dude. I mean, it was just as dope as the what was that one that was just done? Was it the Mutant Ninja Turtles? It was remember Joseph Kahn just did a fan film recently. It was for the Power Rangers. Remember, he didn't make any money. He spent a ton of money, but we all know that stuff. Like you said, work begets work. You know, and if you wanna break into the business in Hollywood, people watching right now in Periscope land, if you want to break into the business, you've got to humble yourself. Would you agree, Paul? Humble yourself and just you want to break in, because no one in this business, everyone in this game knew someone to get in the game, right, Paul? Anyone you talk to.
Yeah, man. I'm not saying to be a sellout and give you stuff away.
Right.
That's not it. But just know what your worth is and know it's realistic, and not coming in there asking for stuff that you're not deserving of. And I know people, you always want to shoot high and come low, but there's a level of ridiculous. I mean, and some stuff is ridiculous. It's like, really? It's like this isn't a big Brad Pitt picture doing stuff, and you don't deserve all that, and it's not going to happen. I think a lot of times just getting your content out there and making a name for yourself is what it's all about, which is what I do as well, doing a lot of the little stuff just for fun and for getting awareness out there. So, but what we originally talked about is finding writers.
Right.
I think it's really important to see what their style is and to get along with, and the same thing with the writer, to see what style I'm looking for and to be on the same page. Because if I want apples and you're giving me oranges, I'm not happy. And if you're trying to talk me into oranges, I'm not going to be turned. It's just, I know what I want, and it don't work. And I have that happen a lot of times. Everyone thinks they can write everything. And then it's like, no.
Right.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this. And they're like, yeah, but this, and they're trying to plead their case why theirs is better. And I'm like, well, then write your own shit. This is a writer for hire gig, and you write what I'm telling you. And if you don't like it, then don't know what to tell you.
Right.
We're just not seeing eye to eye. Go write for somebody else, or write your own stuff. Produce your own shit.
Right.
If that's what it comes down to. And that might be a good idea for some people. Produce your own thing. If you're that comfortable and adamant about your story and getting that across, then do that. Don't try to put your story on into somebody else's world and then try to make it yourself. Like, I have that a lot too. I'll hire somebody and they'll try to say, because of WGA, if I write X amount of stuff now, I'm the main writer and I get this and I get that, because they keep trying to squeeze all their stuff in there and make it theirs. That's shady. Shady, man.
That is
shady.
shady.
It's shady.
Yeah.
If I'm looking for a writer for hire. If it's a collaboration piece, that's different. Now we're talking a whole nother game. We're going to collaborate on something to make the best thing, and we're sharing stuff, and it's all worked out in the beginning. That's different. You're going to the plate, and we're negotiating with the best kind. We're coming up, and it works. And I'm not saying that doesn't work in writer for hire. Like, I have a guy I'm working with right now. He's great. He'll throw me some ideas. I'm like, dude, that's awesome. Let's use that. But then again, the same thing, if he throws me something and it doesn't fit with what's in my mind and I don't like it, he's like, all right, man, that's cool. I get it. And he moves on. And that's professionalism. And that's the way it should be done. The whole stuff of pitching your thing and you're not understanding me, I don't really vibe it too well.
So you're saying, as a writer for hire, you've got to pretty much be, I don't want to say a zombie, but you got to give you what you want. Not, I can inflect what I think you might want, but at the end of the day, I have to give you what you want. So I have to not have.
Right. Here's an example.
Okay.
Say, for instance, you're a car maker.
Okay.
Right? You build cars. And I tell you, I want you to build me a BMW 3 Series. And then you come to the plate and you start building me a Honda Civic. And I'm like, yo, man, that isn't a BMW 3 Series. Yeah, but you don't understand. This is so much better. Because it's better on gas mileage. And you start going to this whole thing. It's like, but it's not even nothing like the BMW 3 Series. Yeah, but you don't get it. You're not understanding me. This is why it's better than the BMW. And it'll blend so, and I'm kind of like, not what I want. and you're trying to now switch. You're trying to flip the script on me, literally, and trying to get me to do into a Honda. I don't want to do a Honda.
Right.
Not anything Honda. It's just not what I want. So, like, again, knowing what the writer and producer both want and understanding one another, to me, is very important. And it's been a problem that I had with a number of people. They just want the job, and they'll yes you to that. And then they don't want, and they can't conform to what you're trying to deliver. And it's not going to work. Some people are great. They can write whatever, but some people, they just can't, especially when you're young or you're new and you don't have the chops. You know, they just can't. They can't deal.
How do I get? Let's say I'm a screenwriter. How do I get my chops up? Is there a way to get my chops up so that if I do see, say, an ad from you, I go, oh, I know that guy, Paul J. Alessi. He put an ad in Inktip. Oh, at what point? When are you ready? I guess to reach out.
I think it's growth in a lot of ways, personal development as well as creative talent. Because it's the same thing like acting. How there's a lot of rejection and a lot of getting turned down. You're going to be able to take me not liking your Honda, right? Back to our previous analogy, and just taking that on the chin and going, all right, all right, the Honda's not it. My bad. I made a mistake. I'm gonna get back to you. Let me try and write that BMW like we just talked about. Give me a day. I got something new for you. So I think a lot of people get insulted when you don't like their work or stuff that they brought to the table, and they try to fight for it rather than going, I'm sorry, man, I didn't get you. Let me try this again. What did I miss? How didn't we align? How am I on another page writing a Honda when you wanted a BMW? Let's work this out. And if the communication is a problem, like I said in the beginning, communication being very important, then you might just need to part ways because you're obviously not seeing eye to eye.
So,
and that
is a writer for hire then not a collaborative in your perspective? It's more of a hired gun. Is that a fair question?
For me, writer for hire is a writer for hire. And depending what terms you work out, I have a story, I have a concept, I have an outline, or however deep detailed you want, create characters, design, develop, whatever. It's my story. I want to hire a writer to write my story and interpret my story into words. So I'm going to share with them words, share with them some writing, share them stuff, and then just put it together in the script format and write it. So it's basically writing a story in my world that I created and articulating what's in my brain on the pages. Now, if you have some creative ideas of, Justice is sitting at the computer writing the story and you add something in there and it comes to me and I'm like, oh, dude, that's great. Love that. We'll keep it. Or, nah, dude, I don't want Justice wearing a dress. That's got to go. No, but the reason he's cross-dressing is because inside and I'm kind of like, no. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay. So, as a writer for hire, then, say it. You cut out, Paul. Say it again.
I don't mind creative input, but if I don't agree with it, you got to be able to take it on the chin and just say, okay, I threw it out there. If you don't like it, that's cool. And then just keep going on. But that's a problem I have in the past with a bunch of people. They want to fight for their creative input. Like I said, if I'm hiring a writer on a different level to collaborate and write a script, that's different.
That's different. So it's not. So as a writer for hire, guys, so if you're writing for hire, it's not a collaborative. You give the client what he wants, get your money, and go on to the next project. And maybe that producer will hire you again for another project that he or she is doing. Or
someone else. There's referrals. You refer them to somebody, or work creates work, word of mouth. There's also ghostwriting. People, some people just want you to write their stuff and not even get credit. You get paid, get paid a little more. Maybe you get no credit.
Yeah, I've got friends who are ghostwriters, and they make a very good living ghostwriting. But they've written some big stuff, Paul. And I won't even say on Periscope those names because I don't want to blow up anyone's spot.
But I have some friends that are ghostwriters that write for a lot of big people, and you wouldn't know it.
Yeah, you wouldn't know it.
Like, oh, really?
Yeah,
Crazy.
Don't blow up anyone's cover. Yeah.
So what basically know your job and know your worth. If you're applying for a writing for hire job, that's what it is. It's a writer for hire, not collaborative. If you write a script and you're pitching it to me to produce, now we're in a different story. Obviously, if I option it and I want to make changes, then I have the right to make changes, right? And that's another whole ball game.
Right, yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's the problem I have. Just writers not knowing what up.
Well, you writers who are watching right now, you guys now have gotten one working producer's perspective on Writing for Hire, so you have a little bit more insight moving forward. And again, guys, anyone that is tuning in right now and has missed this, don't worry about it. I'm going to upload it for replay. You can watch it again, take notes. And again, Paul says you can reach him on Twitter at Paul J. Alessi. That's P-A-U-L-J Alessi, A-L-E-S-S-I. That's him on Twitter. So is there anything you want to, we're going to wrap it up soon, guys. Paul, is there anything that you can say to wrap it up or to, I guess, encourage writers, as you know, at the same time, encourage and, I don't know, educate, encourage, and give them a kick in the butt to go for their dreams, I guess.
Yeah.
You know?
Sure, man. Flattery in some ways, maybe flattery is not the right word, but I've had some writers that are smart write some pieces on stuff I did and send it to me as like little reviews and say, or little bios on somebody in my cast or somebody in my team or whatever, and send it to me and say, hey man, you can have this, I love it, blah, 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 love your work, love to be considered for something. And now it's kind of like, yeah, it's really cool, man. I got one out of time, wrote a nice review, or wrote a little bio, throw it out there for free. Obviously you give them credit, but it makes me now think, I'm going to hit that guy up when I'm looking to hire somebody and just see what he got. Then it's like, I'll send him the stuff, and if all those other elements coincide, he's up for the gig. So I'm giving you a little, something that worked for me once. Some dude sent me something, I was pretty impressed by it, and he's the first person I called when my next project came to my mind for a writer. And I was like, I'm going to hit that dude up. Right? Other than that, this is my first time on this...
Periscope?
Did I pronounce it correct?
Periscope. Yes, Paul popped his Periscope cherry today, guys. Yeah.
With my boy Justice over here. Cherry popping, man.
Well, hey, look, guys, we're going to have other discussions because Paul and I have been in the game for a while. We've made every mistake. We've made non-mistakes. We've had successes. We're hustlers. We've made great contacts, and we get it. So Periscope is an awesome new app that's going to help people out that wouldn't have got it otherwise.
Hey, what's all these little hearts that pop up?
The hearts that pop up are people give you hearts when they either like you or they think what you're saying, makes sense. Or so it's a positive indicator that what you're doing or saying is making sense. I haven't seen any stars. Have you seen any hearts? Have you been seeing hearts at all? Because I haven't.
I just seen a whole bunch of purple hearts. I don't know what they were. That's what I was asking.
Yeah. For some reason on my screen, I'm not seeing the hearts right now. But that's awesome, dude. No. That means people who are watching are benefiting from what we're saying, and will probably tune in next time.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, look, guys. Well, hey, Paul, I want to thank you very much, bro, for taking the time out of your schedule to even do this and to talk to people and connect. Hopefully, you'll let me talk to you again in the future on a future broadcast, and feel free to interview me on your broadcasts. Okay.
We totally will do. that.
Yeah.
Since I have nobody on my broadcast, right?
Well,
maybe today I'll have some people.
Well, no, but listen, we'll get replays too today. People are going to watch this, so it's all good. Well, look, Paul, I'm going to sign out. I'm going to flip the camera. Watch, I'm going to flip it. There I go, guys. I want to thank you guys for all tuning in. Happy Friday. I'll see you guys on my next broadcast. Peace.